I'm an ex-soldier. I've served 2 tours of Iraq, numerous tours of Northern Ireland, Kosovo, Belize, Cyprus, quite around the world really, This is how governments like to treat us by sending us all to these foreign conflicts. That had nothing to do with Britain, which is pretty sad, especially Iraq and Afghanistan. So the other thing is I'm not used to appearing in front of crowds. I'm only used to appearing in front of 10 of my platoon. So this is a bit awesome for me, so please bear with me. The other thing is when I have been in front of crowds in Iraq and Northern Ireland, I'm used to being spat at, hurled abuse at, things thrown at me, you name it, I've had it thrown at me. I trust that won't happen over the next 10-15 minutes. Well, you might do after the speech, you might think what a lot of rubbish and throw me off. So I'm here basically to talk about the armed forces and how bad we've been treated by the government. You've all been lied to, deceived to. Honest, I wish I had an hour or two here. I would give it you all. But I have to keep it very basic, which is unfortunate, really. But I'll try and get the main points across to understand this. But believe you me, you have been cheated. You think everything. You never get the full story of Iraq. You never will. You think, you watch the news articles, you hear the government speak, you hear Blair speak. It's not like that at all. You see the press conferences in Iraq with Tony Blair. Where do you think them people come from in uniform? You see the people like me on the front line? No, they're hand-picked. They're hand-picked with Labour allegiances. So that's one misconception. I'll shoot on straight on the Iraq policy. Before we went to Iraq, we were given a restricted article. Yeah? This has been photocopied because the army don't spend money. And they tend to photocopy things and give you them. Now it says restricted. I have signed the Official Secrets Act, but when I read bits of it, you're going to wonder, what the hell, But there is a reason behind this article, and I'm sure you'll come to the conclusion before I do. The other thing is, obviously, it is a restricted article, so if there's any special branch people out there tonight, I'm probably going to get arrested at the end of the tonight and thrown in prison. But, hey, what have I got to worry about? I'll have a nice plasma TV, I'll have a nice DVD, hi-fi, won't have 3 good meals a day, get it all, just invite a girl in and I can fornicate all night, I'm not worried, I'm not bothered. Anyway, like I said, I could really blow the lid on a lot of things. If any of you want to see this after, just come and see me. I've cut it down because obviously there is some things I can't say. But when I mention the bits, you're going to wonder, why is this restricted? Why can't I discuss it? Why can't I talk about it? Basically, before going to Iraq, you've got to learn the cultures, their way of life, how they do things, etc., etc., which is finally acceptable to me. I'm going to a foreign country, why shouldn't I get that and read it? Then I can respect their ways, etc. I'm just going to read a few bits of it. First of all, it talks about the history. I'll give you a very brief history. We don't want to know about Iraq too much, do we? In the 7th century, the region was conquered for Islam by the Arab armies, and gradual conversion of most of the population began. Very basic, that one, isn't it? There's another one. At the end of the World War I, does anybody know that there is a British war grave cemetery in Iraq? Do people know our soldiers fought and died in Iraq? Yeah, in the First World War. So at the end of the First World War, the region was passed into British hands. In 1921, Emir Hussein, does that name ring a bell? Was appointed as monarch, and in 1932, modern Iraq became nominally independent. So that's very basic. I'll go back to the war graves, because there's some war graves out there. We found them by accident, we weren't told. But apparently in 1991, Saddam Hussein blocked the War Graves Commission coming in tidy them. So basically, Saddam said at the end of the Gulf War in 1991, no one's coming in, you're just going to let the war just rot, basically. We found them by accident, just going along the road, as usual. I'm going to be PC tonight, I'm going to call them insurgents. I'd like to call them something else, really I would, but I'll just call them insurgents. They'd blown the road, so we had to take a detour. Anyway, we come across the cemetery. All along, there's graffiti drawn on the walls, etc., etc. We expect that. When we went in, I've never seen such a disgusting sight in my life. They desecrated the graves, they dug them up, they daubed their slogans on them. And you can guess the slogans, can't you, at the end of the day? Allah Akbar, all over them. And I don't mean to be brutal, but at the end of the day, they dug the bones up, there were bones scattered everywhere. Another word they used, at the end of the day, they call it us. What are we? What are we? If we don't follow Islam, what are we? Infidels. We're infidels, aren't we? Infidels all over. It totally disgusted us. you know, we're driven to tears by it. It should not be treated like that, should it? And these call themselves religious people. We don't go around digging up and desecrating graves, do we? That left a very sour taste in my mouth to this day. Lucky enough, it is fine now, for the moment, but I'll guarantee you, the minute we're all out, it'll implode and explode again and it'll all kick off. I hope to God we don't get sent there again. And I've looked through all the policies before I joined the BNP, and none of them will you know, guarantee that. The British National Party does. I've seen the defence policy. I lost 7 friends in Iraq. I don't want to see any more bloodshed there. That's why I support the British National Party. So, you know, another quick one. We all know about. Do we know about honour and shame with Islam? They're very honour and shame people. You know. If I give you an example, I'm not talking about personal experience here. An insurgent can age from 8 to 80. Yeah, they'll come and fight you. They don't care. Well, we know they're coming because they always shout Allah Akbar. You know, if you're going to fight someone, be discreet about it. But no, so they'll come and, you know, come and kick off. They'll come and fight you. Fair enough. I'm just giving an example. This has not hurt me personally. Let's say, for example, a 10-year-old lad gets shot. As a soldier, you've got to make a moral decision. It's you or them. There's nothing else to think about at the end of the day, and it's too personal. But if you've got a young lad who's been killed, father, as the head of the household, as part of their honour and shame laws, has to exact revenge. He has to come and take one of us out. If he doesn't, he can't go back in his house. He's got 2 choices: come and shoot one of us with witnesses, or shoot himself. It's either choice, and it's again. And the point I'm making with this, it's religion, isn't it? They call Islam religion. The things I've discussed. I don't behave like that. I'm sure none of you do either. It's just sick. Another thing on it, it's got interaction with Arabs. No beer, no pornography. Shake hands whenever meeting an Arab. Never sit with the soles of your shoulders or your feet facing an Arab. We know all that, don't we? When visiting, when ordering tea or coffee, it is polite to accept. But if you accept more than 3 cups of coffee, you may extend your welcome. Has anybody had Arab coffee? Your enamel on your teeth disintegrates. You would not want to stay in front of an Arab's house having 3 cups of coffee. You know, you'd be gone before that, so that one's irrelevant. Do not belch. Never ask questions about the women of an Arab family. You know, like you're going to do that anyhow. We had women with us, interpreters to begin with, and they would not talk to us while there was a woman present. They used to spit on the feet like that. And that upset them. And we had to take them out the line. We had to respect their cultures and their laws. And there was this one blows me. Touching, kissing and holding hands between members of the same sex is normal and demonstrates friendship. Do not laugh at it. Okay, but on the other hand, point number 2, touching or kissing members of the opposite sex in public is considered to be extremely bad taste. How the hell is the members of people in Iraq? There should be nobody there, should there? Honestly, I just don't understand it at all. You know, it just goes on and on about that. So do you understand that? Restricted what? I don't understand. It's just normal. When visiting another country, I would respect that, would you? Would you all respect their ways, their way of life, etc.? Yeah, of course you would. Right? So my point is, how would you feel if we give this to every invader who came into this country? How would they feel about this? Do you think they'd respect it? I'll tell you what they'll do with that. They'll just do like that. They'll just throw it, won't they? Yeah. They're not interested. That's my point of view about all that. You know, because they just will not respect it one way, shape or form. All they're asking for is you know, a fair thing. I respect their way of life. I don't respect ours. You know? Yeah. But, you know, Iraq, another thing. There's a thing, you know, you've heard about there's no kit. We got there, we had green combats on black boots. And we had one combat vest between the 2 of us, which is very difficult. And the combat body armour was actually from the 1950s. It had been worn by hundreds of soldiers since, some probably dead ones. You know, so you've got to share it. One day I'd have it, one day my mum would have it. Yeah? But hold on, that's okay, because what we're going to do, you've got vehicles. Oh, protected. Well, it really makes you feel good, you know. So as if, you know, we're standing out like a sore thumb in the desert with green combats. You know, the insurgent on the roof with his gun pointing down. He's having a field day, isn't he? You know, I'll get the one without the body armour today. So it's okay. You'll travel around in vehicles. So you look at the vehicle, we're talking about a soft skin top Land Rover.